Welcome to the Little League Softball Regional on ESPN, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. A chance to punch your ticket to the West Region Finals in an elimination game today between Northern California and Arizona here at Al Houghton Stadium. Our West Region started out with 6 teams. We're down to 3. Nevada, Utah, and Hawaii have been eliminated. Southern California, the team from Quartz Hill, punching their ticket to the finals yesterday in a win against this Arizona team. So now it's win or go home between Arizona and Northern California. The winner will play in the finals tomorrow at 5 Eastern on ESPN. Eric Rothman alongside softball legend Natasha Watley, happy to be here with you. And the Wilcox Little League team 1-1 so far. They come from a small town about 85 miles east of Tucson. There were only 20 kids to choose from in the entire Little League community there. 13 make up this all-star roster. They have been fantastic. They had a great opening round game against Nevada, winning 8-0. And then yesterday in our nightcap against Southern California, came down to the wire 0-0 going into extra innings. Arizona scores first in the top of the 7th, and then Southern California comes back to tie it and then ultimately win it with a RBI triple from Ariana Serta to send Southern California into our final game with the come-from-behind victory. So now Arizona, a quick turnaround, but what a fantastic night of softball it was for us calling that game last night.
It was such an intense game last night. I mean, just so impressed by watching how both teams competed to the very end. And it was one of those games where you just didn't want a team to have to lose, but an incredible game. Well,
there's a chance we get a rematch of that matchup tomorrow in our final game if Arizona can win here today. And for the Northern California team, this is their 4th game of the tournament. They're 2-1. They come from the San Jose area, you know, big Silicon Valley tech community. Their manager, John Drake, and they suffered a first-round loss to Southern California, but they've really had 2 strong performances since then. Their game against Utah, they were down 4-1 going into the final inning. They come out in the top of the 6th, and on this overthrow by the defensive Utah, score 2 runs to tie it, and then ultimately score 1 run in the 7th. That was the difference, an extra inning victory for Northern California over Utah, 5-4. And then they turn around the next day, Natasha, and they play Nevada. Completely different story, blowing out 9-1.
Yes, and just their offense just coming through for them, but they just are able to hang with teams, stay in there. They're able to use 1 through 12 and rely on every athlete on the team.
They never quit attitude of the Northern California team. They will be up first as the away team in those powder blue uniforms. As you see what their tournament has looked like, a tough loss to Quartz Hill. Again, it could be a rematch between NorCal and SoCal. It could be a rematch between Arizona and SoCal. It's been good games either way, and we expect a fantastic final, whatever the matchup is. Kieta Gutierrez, Jada Drake, Isabella Aguirre will lead things off. Maya Parada will be the starting pitcher for Northern California today. And speaking of starting pitchers, we've only seen 1 pitcher this entire tournament for Arizona, and it is not Lily Williams, who is starting today. Hattie McCumber has started both games, gotten complete games for Arizona in the opening 2 games for their team. Since she threw 7 full innings last night, she is ineligible to pitch today. So the first time we get to see Williams in the circle.
Yes, first time we get to see Williams, but she is their go-to for being the number 2 pitcher that they rely on, and so she can carry the load and carry the weight, and so we'll see how she can get it done in the circle today.
A little hazy, but still a beautiful day here in Southern California. Not a cloud in the sky. It is going to be hot as it has been. The winner advances to the championship game tomorrow on ESPN. The loser, unfortunately, has to go home as we whittle it down to our final teams and 1 spot on the line to get to Greenville, North Carolina for the Little League Softball World Series starting on August 6th. So here is Kieta Gutierrez to lead things off for the girls from Elmadon Little League in San Jose, California. And a quick strike from Lily Williams called by home plate umpire Kyler Dolan. Swing and a miss It's 2 strikes early for Williams. Dolan joined by Christine Larson, PJ Turpin, and Ed Newbegin, your volunteer umpiring crew. First time we've seen Arizona in those snazzy white uniforms. Gutierrez stays alive. And if this is a preview of what's to come from Lily Williams, 3 straight strikes and looking like she's just as capable as Hattie McCumber has been here the past couple days.
Right, and last night when we knew that Hattie McCumber was not coming out of the game, Arizona must know that they can rely on Williams to get the job done, and just already setting the tone, going right at hitters, pounding the strike zone.
Gutierrez 4 for 10 in the tournament so far. On the ground, a one-hopper to the shortstop, McCumber. So Hattie McCumber slides back about 20 feet from the circle to shortstop and makes the nice play.
And what an athlete McCumber is, you know, just last night in the circle, just fielding her position, but now seeing her at short, covering ground, just that versatility is so valuable.
Yeah, she's got like the Brett the Hitman Hart sunglasses on too. That'll bring up Jada Drake. Speaking of pitchers, Drake has been the relief pitcher of record for the Northern California team. A ground ball cut off by the third baseman Ramirez onto Carly St. Clair at first. 2 down. And this is the type of defense, Natasha, we saw last night from Arizona. Hattie McCumber didn't strike anybody out, yet didn't give up a run in 6 innings, and that's because the defense was so strong behind her.
Right, the defense definitely took care of the ball behind Hattie McCumber, and you know, just watching the game, it was shocking to see that there were no strikeouts, and just being able to take care of the ball, that was the difference for Arizona last night for keeping them in the game.
1-0 pitch to Isabella Aguirre, the first baseman for Northern California. It's a favorite vacation she's been on, Switzerland. Hey, I've never been to Switzerland. I travel with the Aguirre family. And with 2 outs, nobody on, Lily Williams behind in the count, 3-0. Aguirre looking for her first official hit of the tournament. Has scored a couple runs. Williams takes a little bit off that one just to make sure she gets it over the plate. 3-1. Hot shot right back to Williams. And a 1-2-3 opening frame for the Arizona defense. Just like it started yesterday. Are we in for another nail biter today? We shall see as Arizona's up to bat when we return. Good start for the Arizona defense as they get ready to come to the plate as the home team here in this one. It is win or go home in our second semifinal game here in San Bernardino, California. Our Arizona team from Wilcox Little League set to face off against this Northern California defense. Jaylene Aguirre, Hattie McCumber, and Carly St. Clair will lead things off for manager Patrick McCumber. And they will be faced against Maya Parada. Parada now starting in her 4th game of the tournament. She's pitched 11 innings, given up 14 hits and 4 earned runs, striking out 7. And again, it's been a nice balance between Parada and Jada Drake. Parada comes in, typically pitches about 3 or 4 innings, and then we'll see Jada Drake come in as we see Hattie McCumber in yesterday's game for Arizona. She was the ace on the mound for Arizona. Will we get similar performances today from Williams and Parada? We shall see as Jaylene Aguirre will start things off for the Arizona team. And talk about the sunglasses that McCumber was wearing. Parada has worn the Terminator shades this entire tournament, and she's super intimidating out there. I wouldn't want to face her, that's for sure.
That's what gives her the edge. That's definitely what's getting the job done.
No emotion in the circle for Parada. And Arizona, obviously a tight game yesterday, the 2-1 loss in extra innings to Southern California. This is a team that is no stranger going on a run. In their state championship game, they lost their second round game, their state championship tournament. They lost their second round game 1-0. Ended up playing 9 games in 8 days where they outscored their opponents 51-5 as they get a quick leadoff batter here. Aguirre hit on the outside shoulder, and Parada puts the leadoff runner on.
You know, last night after talking to Coach McCumber, he talked about their state championship and getting in that loser's bracket and having to come back. And, you know, having only played 1 game going into yesterday, he was a little worried, not sure. We're used to playing a lot of games. And so I think they're well prepared having that state championship under their belt, now being in this elimination game. That can work in their favor.
Right, they won that game on Sunday, which was their first game of the tournament, then didn't play until Wednesday because of the way the tournament is set up now that they've split the regions. It used to be one big region out here in the West. Now there's the West region and the Northwest region, so you have 6 teams apiece. And so because you have 6 teams, you can't do a true double elimination tournament. It's technically called a modified double elimination tournament where 2 random teams are selected to get a first round bye. So if you're Arizona, you played 1 game, you won, you were in the semifinals, you went to the beach for the day, you went to the original McDonald's location for the day. And so you kind of get out of the groove a little bit here as McCumber blasts that one to right field, caught by Kapoor on a nice play. And there's 1 away. But it has to be a little bit different for Arizona, having played less than 24 hours ago, to come back, take the positives away from yesterday, and keep the train moving a little bit.
Yeah, if anything, I think you use that to your advantage, and you feed off of that momentum from last night, because it's just they're 1 play away from advancing to that championship game. And if anything, it's experience that you take with you.
Nice shot down the left field line for Carly St. Clair. That's going to get all the way to the wall. Jaylene Aguirre scores. Here comes Carly St. Clair, rounding third, heading for home. A stand-up inside the park home run for Carly St. Clair, and it's an early 2-0 lead for Arizona. It is a big field here in San Bernardino, Natasha. If you get it past one of the outfielders, you're going for home.
It's a good chance. You're having it in the Parker.
Here is Lily Williams, the starting pitcher for Arizona, and just like that, she's got a 2-0 lead for when she steps back into the circle. Looking for more here with 1 out, the bases cleared. And you give up a big hit like that for Parada this early in the game. How do you put it behind you? How do you adjust?
Well, being a pitcher, it's all about what are you doing the next pitch, and having that short-term memory. Anytime you give up a hit, you give up a walk, what do you do in the next pitch? How are you adjusting?
Hot corner, Ortiz fields the line drive, 2 away. And that was officially ruled a double with an error on the left fielder for Carly St. Clair. So a double, 2 RBI, and an error charge to the defense for Northern California. Here's Jackie Ramirez, the lefty, with 2 outs and nobody on. Slow roller on the ground to Ortiz. Throw on to first is in time. And that will end the inning, but not before the big blast from Carly St. Clair. 2 runs across for Arizona. They're on top after 1. Welcome back to the Little League Softball Regional on ESPN, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's. 2 runs in the bottom of the first inning for Arizona. Carly St. Clair with the ripper down the line. Getting past the left fielder, Hannigan. St. Clair scores along with Jalen Aguirre to make it 2-0 Arizona here as we move to the second inning. Eric Rothman, Natasha Watley here with you. As Northern California has the heart of their lineup coming up. Danica Garcia, Brooklyn Scott, and Lily Ferguson due up. First pitch into Garcia, skips in there. Says her favorite TV show is WandaVision. And Natasha, you talk about the mentality of the two pitchers. We talked about what Parada needed to do to get out of the inning after giving up the 2 runs. She did it. Now with Lily Williams, you come back out. You had a 1-2-3 first inning. Now you have a 2-0 lead. How does that change things, if anything?
It definitely gives you more confidence as a pitcher knowing that you had that run support, and just thinking about that first inning. She had a 1-2-3 inning. She only threw 12 pitches, and so that's incredible to come out and have that fire. That gives you a lot of confidence coming back out in the second inning, knowing that you got that run support. 3
ground ball outs in that 1-2-3 inning. Again, Arizona, maybe the best defensive team we've seen in this tournament. So even though balls are in play, they seem to be making the plays as Carly St. Clair gets the 4th ground ball out of the game for Arizona. So that will bring up Brooklyn Scott. First pitch swinging, 1 hopper right back to Williams. 5 outs, all via ground balls. And Williams, much like Hattie McCumber yesterday, fielding her position.
Yes, and just thinking from the standpoint of being NorCal, when you're facing a team that's just making the plays, you just feel like you can't breathe. And so I think just Arizona being able to take care of that ball, it just sets the tone right from the get-go.
First pitch swinging, and maybe that's one thing, because we talked about it last night, how the two teams in a 0-0 game, we didn't see many pitches taken, we didn't see many bunts, we didn't see teams trying to manufacture a run. When you're talking about a team who can't breathe, that's getting smothered, we're seeing them swing at a lot of first pitches instead of getting relaxed in the box there. As Lily Ferguson has a 1-1 count on her. Ferguson, the center fielder for Almaden Little League. Their manager, John Drake. On the ground again, this time to Vandermeulen. Another 1-2-3 inning, this time only 8 pitches thrown by Williams. 6 outs, all ground balls for the Arizona ace.
Let's go, it's time to play some softball. All the emotions, all the fun in Greenville, North Carolina, the Little League Softball World Series. They will remember this forever.
It's all about Greenville, North Carolina, starting August 6th, the Little League Softball World Series. Tickets have been punched around the world. The Philippines, Italy, Puerto Rico, Salisbury, North Carolina, and Hewitt, Texas, already awaiting the teams from our other U.S. regionals to play in Greenville. 6 regional finals will be aired on ESPN tomorrow. And we are excited to bring you the West Regional. Eric Rothman alongside Natasha Watley. It's been a clean game so far for Arizona defensively. Plus they got 2 runs in the first. They're back up now, and Janelle Vandermeulen will lead it off. Vandermeulen, 12 years old. The participants here between 10 and 12. There are some 13-year-olds, depending on when you were born. Swing and a miss there. And it'll be interesting, I think, Natasha, we talked about how it's really a 50-50 platoon kind of situation for the pitchers of North Carolina Northern California between Parada and Jada Drake. It'd be interesting to see here in this elimination game how far Parada goes if Northern California stays behind as Drake makes the play over at short.
Right, and just it's interesting how they've used the two in tandem. They have a clear 1 and 2 between Parada and Drake, and how long will they have that leash and bring Drake in? But right now, you know, she's keeping them in the game. Parada's keeping them in the game, so to speak. But we'll see how it goes. And she's doing a good job of now settling in a little bit, finding the strike zone, and relying on her defense a little bit more.
First pitch to Josie Benavidez, a ball. Her favorite singer is Dolly Parton. 4'9" Benavidez. And we talked a little bit about it yesterday as Trike called there. The difference in heights of some of these girls. You know, it's the age where people are growing at different rates, and we've got Carly St. Clair is the first baseman for Arizona at 5'11", and then you've got Josie Benavidez, who's 4'9". So it's fun seeing all these girls participate. And then we'll see down when Arizona's out in the field, when some of the smaller players are standing next to St. Clair at first. It's one of those Aaron Judge, Jose Altuve situations.
Yeah, that is one of my favorite things when I get to advocate about softball, is that it doesn't matter your size. You can be short, you could be tall. There's so many ways that you can contribute to a team. You can be small, feisty, and fast. You can be a big power hitter, a power pitcher, and so I just think that's just the beauty of our game, and I love seeing all of the different sizes of these athletes and seeing how they all can compete and contribute.
Absolutely. It's all about balance. That's what you need on a roster. As 3-2 count to Josie Benavidez. Right back to the pitcher, Parada, 2 away. Really, aside from the one pitch that Parada missed to St. Clair, she's been pretty steady in the circle so far. Looking for an easy 1-2-3 inning as Julie Larson stands in. Larson 2 for 4 in the tournament with a run scored. Big fan of, you won't like to see this, the Oklahoma Sooners.
I won't look. I'll close my eyes.
See, you got to get down there and start converting some of these players into UCLA fans. 1-2-3 inning. Gutierrez makes the catch at second. And smooth sailing for Parada. Arizona leads it 2-0 here at the end of the second. The Little League Community Heroes Recognition Program helps to honor those dedicated individuals who not only volunteer their time at local Little League programs, but also contribute in other ways to improve their communities. To learn more or to nominate a community hero, visit littleleague.org/communityheroes. Eric Rothman, Natasha Watley here with you. We get set to start the third inning between Northern California and Arizona. That's Northern California head coach John Drake. And when you talk about community heroes, when you talk about Little League communities rallying to support those in need, that's what happened to the Drake family in 2016. That's Lottie Drake, John's wife and Jada's mom, who was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2016. And we got a chance to talk to Coach John before the tournament started. And he teared up talking about how the Little League community in Almaden really stepped up in his family's time of need, whether it was, meal trains or giving the kids rides or just overall, bending an ear or giving a shoulder to the Drake family when they needed it the most. And it started at the top of the Almaden Little League executive staff: Pete Fuquay, league president; Brian Baggett, vice president. John said when Lottie was diagnosed and throughout her entire treatment, they were instrumental in rallying the softball community in support of our family. And John said that no matter what the Little League community asks of him and his family since that point, he said the answer is always yes. We can't repay them for everything they did for us. And really just a great story, and why Little League not only is so important for these girls on the field, but off the field as well.
Yeah, just such a powerful story. I mean, just the power of community and what that meant for that Drake family to have that support from Little League, and I love hearing that story.
Yeah, and it's so great to see Lottie happy and healthy here, taking in the action as she roots on this Northern California team who just got their first base runner aboard. Anya Kapoor drawing the walk, and here is Aspen Hannigan. Hannigan wears one on the ankle. So after a perfect first 2 innings for Lily Williams, a walk and a hit batter, and there's 2 on for Northern California.
And you can see that this ball just gets away from Williams. It's almost as if she loses her grip a little bit, but Hannigan has nowhere to go on that pitch.
You talk about losing grip, because it's interesting is it's so hot out there. There's so, perspiration and the hands, it's not an easy, the girls, you know, they're young, they don't have giant hands to grip the ball to begin with, but we've seen at different points in time, we've seen a rosin bag out there. Some games we see it out there, other games we don't. I'm not sure the reason why, but no rosin bag right now. So you see Williams going to the dirt to try to get some grip.
Right, and most times for pitchers, it's all preference. Some pitchers like that feeling of rosin and having that security. Some like just the dirt, some like just wiping on their pants. And so it's always nice to see the variation, but definitely with this heat, you need something because it's hot out there.
Pitch out there as Layla Ortiz is on with nobody out, is up with nobody out, and runners on first and second. Ortiz had the game-winning RBI in extra innings against Utah. Looking to score the first runs for Northern California here in this one. Third baseman Ramirez drawn in case there's a bunt. Slap the opposite way, but foul. Let's just see both Ramirez and McCumber on the left side of that defense playing pretty shallow. Strike called, 2-2. Northern California 2-1 in the tournament. Opening round loss to Southern California. Come from behind win against Utah and a 9-1 victory in their last game against Nevada. Ground ball to the second baseman. Vandermeulen, she had trouble getting it out of her glove, and a run will score for Northern California. Throw down to third is in time as Hannigan was trying to advance. And there's one away. And now we have second base umpire P.J. Turpin saying, no, 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 go back to third base, Aspen Hannigan. There was obstruction by the infielder. And so Hannigan remains at third on the obstruction call.
Now batting number 5, Maya Parada.
And I couldn't see, Natasha, if maybe it was Hattie McCumber that got in her way.
Yeah, and it looks like Ramirez, she was in the path of the base runner before she received the ball, and so you've got to at least create a clear path for that runner to go through.
So P.J. Turpin making the call as Maya Parada steps up. So nobody out, and runners at second and third. Hannigan the runner at third. Ortiz, who reached on the error by Vandermeulen, as Parada stands in. This is kind of what the MO of Northern California has been. Taking advantage of opposing teams' mistakes, kind of just hanging around, keeping themselves within striking distance, and now Parada a chance to tie or take the lead here with nobody out.
Also, too, just looking at Williams, just really not finding the strike zone right now, and I'm not sure if the grip is really a cause of that, but as in the earlier innings, we saw her pounding the zone early in the count. So now she's getting behind a lot of hitters.
Works the count to full now. Swing and a miss. First strikeout of the game for Lily Williams, and it's a big one. Keep the runners standing where they are.
Now batting number 71.
That'll bring up Azareas Garibaldi Munoz, or Ozzy, as her teammates call her. Last batter in the order for Northern California. First pitch lifted into shallow left field. Coming on to make the catch is Larson, and there's 2 away.
Larson having to travel a long way on that ball, but doing such a great job of communicating. You can see her using her hands, trying to call off McCumber at short, making a great catch.
So it'll be the second at bat for Kira Gutierrez, who grounded out in the top of the first inning. Tying run 60 feet away as Hannigan stands at third base. 0-2 the count on Gutierrez as Williams battling back here. First real test that Williams has faced after a perfect first 2 innings in the circle. Here's the 0-2. Line drive, base hit up the middle. Hannigan will come around to score. Here comes Layla Ortiz, and Northern California takes the lead here in the third.
Now batting number 6,
Gutierrez, a 2-out two RBI single. 3 runs here in the top of the third inning for Northern California, and Jada Drake comes up to the plate. And we'll see now, second time through the lineup, if Northern California is starting to adjust to Lily Williams a little bit. Pass ball, and Gutierrez is on to second.
Definitely, you can see that Northern California is making the adjustments. They're taking more pitches. They're staying the counts a little bit longer, where the first time through, they're a little bit more aggressive, swinging into ground outs. They're aggressive earlier in the counts.
Hard ground ball through the infield on the left side to keep this inning going for Northern California. First hit of the game for Jada Drake, runners at the corners, and usually, Natasha, you know this better than anybody, in a big inning you can typically point back to a walk or an error that kept an inning alive, and that's exactly what happened in this one with an error on the second baseman that would have been the first out. Instead, it results in a couple of runs, and it keeps the momentum going, and it just gives the team at bat a little bit more confidence.
Yes, and that ability that you feed off of a teammate, and when you start to pass the bat, it's addicting.
Well, looper to McCumber at short as Agaria lines out to end the inning. But Northern California scores 3 in the top of the third. They lead it 3-2 here in our elimination game. Welcome you back to the Little League Softball Regional here on ESPN, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. So when you talk about keeping an inning alive, sometimes just things go your way. And this was the call at third base. Aspen Hannigan originally called out on the throwdown after the single by Gutierrez, and then PJ Turpin, the second base umpire, came in and said, no, there was obstruction, not allowing her to get a clean shot at the bag as the third baseman Ramirez was in the way. So that allowed Hannigan to stay on the base path, kept it at no outs in the inning, and led to that 3-run inning for Northern California. First pitch swinging, hammered into left field, and a diving catch nearly made by Hannigan in left. She dropped it as she went to her knees, and it'll be a base hit for Medrano.
And Hannigan just misses this catch barely, but her heartbeat on that ball, she was right on it.
Would have been a spectacular catch. And now time call. You see Hannigan a little upset with herself. Can't be too upset. She came around to score in the last inning.
Yeah, these girls are competitors. Like, I want that ball. I want to catch it.
Now we have a challenge here. And I'm not sure.
And I think they're trying to say that she actually had control of the ball on her way down. But when she hits the ground, looks like it falls out of her glove.
Yeah, it seemed like it was kind of already falling out before the glove hit the ground. Again, I mean, if she would have made that catch, probably would have been the play of the tournament defensively. Nothing to be ashamed of yourself about that one. So a challenge, our first challenge of the game. Northern California manager John Drake wants the umpiring crew to take one more look at it. Kyler Dolan, Christine Larson, PJ Turpin, Ed Newbegin, the umpires here today. And deserves to be noted once again, these are volunteer umpires. We saw the initial call from the third base umpire, Newbegin, was he signaled out. Oh, my apologies. So I missed it, Natasha. The call on the field was a catch. So it's an Arizona challenge. So the other way around. I thought that it was clear that Hannigan had dropped the ball, but Newbegin, the third base umpire, signaling catch. Or, excuse me, signaling catch. You see the arm signaling fair, and then he says out. So Arizona is challenging that, hoping to get it overturned. There's no doubt that the ball came out of the glove.
Right.
It's just a question of when.
When, exactly.
So we'll await the call from Kyler Dolan, the home plate umpire. And it's a catch. So wipe those tears away.
You got
Aspen
this.
Hannigan. Spectacular catch made. Had us all confused there for a little bit. So she had control of it long enough to be awarded the catch. And here's Lauren Bennett. Bennett, first plate appearance, looking for her first hit of the tournament. Says her favorite food is hamburgers, and the team went on a little field trip the other day on one of their days off to the original McDonald's location. Not too far away from where we are here in San Bernardino. Swing and a miss. I could go for a milkshake right about now.
Oh, that would be amazing, especially with this heat.
I know. we have it lucky. We came into the broadcast booth and we said it is freezing in here.
Don't spoil
the
our
air
secrets.
conditioning on. We are lucky, and I think it predates us a little bit, Natasha, unless you were here before me. But this beautiful press box that we have here at Al Houghton Stadium didn't used to exist, and the broadcasters and our camera crew up here had to sit out in the heat. As another one at Hannigan, and the basket catch is made. Aspen Hannigan. The web gems continue here in the third.
Now Hannigan, she's just showing off for us now. She's putting on a show. And this is an incredible catch, just to be able to hang on to this, dropping to her knees, and hanging on to it.
Well done. Here is Cassandra Ramirez with nobody on and 2 outs. Bottom half of this third inning. Seems like all the momentum going Northern California's way, both offensively and defensively. Everybody helping out Maya Parada in the circle. Three unearned runs for Northern California in the top half of the inning. 2 outs, nobody on here in the bottom half. Sharp ground ball, backhanded by Gutierrez. A 1-2-3 inning with 2 spectacular grabs from Aspen Hannigan in left field. After 3, it's Northern California 3 and Arizona 2 here in San Bernardino.
No day of rest here at Athletes Unlimited.
What a play!
Foul territory. Oh my goodness! And she'll make it with a slide. The action is unlimited, making every swing and every moment count.
History will be made this August as professional softball comes to Greenville, North Carolina for the first ever Athletes Unlimited Pro Games at the Little League Softball World Series, August 8th and 9th. To learn more, visit littleleague.org/athletesunlimited. And Natasha, a couple pro-level catches for Aspen Hannigan out there and left for Northern California in the last inning. We look forward to seeing the Athletes Unlimited crew in Greenville. As Northern California comes up to the plate, it'll be Danica Garcia to lead things off. 3-2 lead for Northern California. Garcia grounded out in her first at-bat and grounded out in her second at-bat. 1 pitch, 1 down.
Now batting number 9, Brooklyn Scott.
And that'll bring up the catcher, Brooklyn Scott. 0 for 1 today. Scott, a really strong defensive catcher, as we've seen throughout this West Regional. Some of the best defensive catchers we've seen in the years we've been covering this tournament. Really top to bottom, the catcher play has been excellent. Brooklyn's favorite food is pizza. Well, if she traveled to her namesake, Brooklyn, New York, she could get some good pizza. Soft grounder to the shortstop, McCumber, 2 away.
Now batting number 77, Lily.
Tough getting great pizza in California. Not enough to say you can't find it. Not as easy as the East Coast.
Yes,
The West Regional, not necessarily known as hotspots for great pizza.
Yeah, we got you on the tacos on the West Coast.
Lily Ferguson, nobody on, 2 outs. Lily, Kansas City Chiefs fan. And I would stand to bet that there's probably some San Francisco 49ers fans on this team. So Lily not making any friends with their Kansas City Chiefs pick as she grounds out for a 1-2-3 inning. Good bounce back inning for Lily Williams. 3-2 lead at Northern California on top as we move to the bottom of the 4th. Welcome back to the Little League Softball Regional on ESPN, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Beautiful day in San Bernardino, California, as we get ready for Championship Friday. 6 regional championships live on ESPN all day tomorrow, starting with the Southeast Championship game at 11 Eastern. Natasha and I will be here for the West Regional Final, ESPN at 5 Eastern. And the Northwest Regional capping things off also here at our San Bernardino facilities. And what a great facility it is hosting 2 regionals. You see what's at stake for these 2 teams. The winners advance, the loser will be eliminated. Just 1 spot available from this region in the Little League Softball World Series in Greenville. And I'm just fascinated every year, not only with how great of a facility this is, the headquarters of the West Region for the Little League, both softball and baseball, but Natasha, the fact that in about a week, little over a week, we will have the Baseball Little League World Series here, and this field, which is all dirt infield right now, will be a lush green infield thanks to the hardworking grounds crew here in San Bernardino.
Well, it's amazing that this field can transform, because you could fool me. I would say that this is straight up a softball diamond.
Yeah, they'll build a mound, they'll put grass in the infield. Beautiful mountain views, sunny skies.
There you go.
Foul ball out of play for Carly Torres. And they will start that grass installation on Saturday, so they don't waste any time. Our tournament ends on Friday, and then the grass gets rolled out on Saturday. First at bat for Torres in the game, who's 1 for 3 with 2 runs in the tournament. That one misses just inside, 2 of 2.
Go, Carly.
Swing and a miss. First strikeout of the game for Maya Parada, and there's 1 away.
Parada just doing such a great job of just keeping this ball down, and I will say over the last 4 innings, she's super efficient with just working her locations, keeping the ball down. A compliment to her, she's underwhelming. You know, you're thinking that she's gonna not throw it by you, but she's able to keep these hitters off balance. Sneaky.
Like a Greg Maddox type of pitcher.
I like that.
and she's got to be comfortable at this point. This is her 4th game that she's pitched here in this tournament, so I'm sure the stage and the field are not overwhelming her at this point, and she's showing it here. She gave up those 2 runs in the 1st inning. Hit a batter, gave up a double. There was an error in the field on that double that led to the 2 runs. But since then, nothing across for Arizona, and the Northern California offense has taken the lead. Is a Pando down in the count 1 and 2. Just a little too high on that pitch, 2 and 2. It's Pando 1 for 2 with a triple and 2 RBI in the tournament. Strike 3 called. Back-to-back punch-outs for Maya Parada, and there's 2 away.
Again, Parada doing such a good job just locating this ball down. Our catcher working for her, Brooklyn Scott. She catches Panda looking.
They'll bring up the leadoff hitter, Jaylene Aguirre, who was hit by a pitch and scored in the 1st. That's a fair ball. Long throw for Ortiz, and the runner is safe. Infield single to keep the inning alive for Jaylene Aguirre.
Now batting number 8, Hattie McCumber.
So tying runs aboard for Hattie McCumber. And as great as she has been pitching, Hattie McCumber, in this tournament, struggled a little bit with the bat so far. She's hitting the ball real hard. As you see there, she gets a single. But up until that at-bat, she'd been 1 for 7 in the tournament. And you could tell prior to this at-bat, we've seen her hit so many hard balls right at people. It's got to feel good to finally find a hole.
And that's all it takes sometimes, is just keep chipping at it and keep swinging the ball, swinging the bat hard, and eventually that ball is going to go through.
So 2 on for St. Clair, who had the 2 RBI double that led to her coming home via an error in the 1st inning. Runner goes, throw down to 3rd is high. Rounding 3rd is Aguirre. Slides in, the throw dropped by the catcher, Scott, and we're all tied. Good base running by Jaylene Aguirre, and it's a 3-3 ball game. Good throw by Hannigan out there and left.
Yeah, and I love this decision by Coach McCumber to put these runners in motion, try to make something happen. But great base running by G-Ray.
And McCumber moves over to third. And represents the go-ahead run here with 2 outs. And they ruled that stolen base an error on the catcher on the overthrow. Fouled straight back and out of play. So all 3 of the runs that have scored for Arizona have been unearned. Aguirre was hit by a pitch, the error on the St. Clair double, and the error there by the catcher Brooklyn Scott as Aguirre scores for the 2nd time today, and it's a 2-2 count on St. Clair. I like the A-Team logo on some of the helmets for these Arizona players. We get Mr. T out here to coach first base. Here's the 3-2. In the dirt, skipped in. McCumber holds at third. And there's runners at the corner. So 2 quick outs for Parada. Got 2 strikeouts to start the inning. They gave up the single to Aguirre, the single to McCumber, and now a walk to Carly St. Clair. Tie ball game, bottom 4. Lily Williams steps in, trying to help her cause as the pitcher for Arizona. Wild pitch. Here comes McCumber. The flip, the tag, not in time.
McCumber doing a good job of reading that ball down in the dirt. And as a base runner, you always want to make sure you have no hesitation. Instinctually, you're thinking you're going until the defenders make you stop. So that was a great read by McCumber.
4-3 lead for Arizona, their 2nd lead of the game. They led 2-0 after the first, trailed 3-2 after the third. Good off-speed pitch from Parada to get back into the count, 1-1. So Lily Williams will come back into the circle in the next inning with a lead. Just the question is, how big will the lead be? Slow roller to Drake is short. She bumped into the runner, St. Clair, and they're going to call it an interference on Carly St. Clair. Got in the way of Drake fielding the ball. So we've had an obstruction on the defense earlier in the game. Now we have an interference on the base runner to end the 4th. 4-3 Arizona. Fourth inning, a big one for the Arizona offense. Aggressive on the base paths, leads to an overthrow and a run score. Jaylene Aguirre hustling around to make it a tie 3-3 ball game, and then a wild pitch, and Hattie McCumber slides in, all pumped up to give Arizona a 4-3 lead heading into the top of the 5th. Kira Gutierrez, pair of RBI. Parada has been excellent in the circle. So has Lily Williams. Only 2 hits, 3 runs for her. And Aguirre with the 2 runs scored. The difference right now as Williams coming off the 1-2-3 inning, now starting the 5th with a 1-run lead. And this was where Lily Williams had trouble in the lineup in the 3rd inning. Kapoor got on as the leadoff batter with a walk, then a hit batter and an error that led to the 3 runs that Northern California scored. So we'll see what Anya Kapoor can do here in the 5th. win or go home game here in the semifinal matchup between Arizona and Northern California. The winner to face Southern California tomorrow in our championship game. Base hit opposite way for Kapoor. She's on for the second time today. And that's an overthrow, and Kapoor will take second. So a single and an error on the center fielder, Benavidez. The tying run in scoring position for Northern California with Aspen Hannigan coming up to the plate. Hannigan was hit by a pitch and later scored in the third inning. We had the runner interference in the bottom of the fourth inning, but back in the third inning, Hannigan was allowed to stay at third base after defensive obstruction. Pops that one up, back into the seats. 1-1. They've had a lot of momentum shifts in this game here today, Natasha.
Yes, and it's just Northern California continuing to take advantage of errors and still putting up threats, and it's going back and forth.
On the ground, Kapoor stays put at second base. Hannigan 3 for 7 in the tournament with 3 runs scored. Make that 4 runs scored actually if include today. Swing and a miss there, 2-2. Two-two pitch, looper into right center field. Base hit for Hannigan. Kapoor at third, rounds and holds. Runners at the corners now for Northern California, trailing 1 with nobody out.
And Hannigan doing a great job of driving this ball, but if you take a look at Kapoor, she hesitates and goes back to the bag, but if she were to stay off and know where her outfielders are, she could potentially score on that hit.
Showing bunt is Ortiz. Hannigan uncontested down to second. And now the tying run at third, the go-ahead run at second. Wouldn't be a Western Regional semifinal if it didn't come down to the wire like our game last night did. As Ortiz down on the count, 0-2. Ortiz reached on an error and scored in the third. Little chopper, slow roller, gonna be tough for Vandermeulen. Comes home, not in time, tie ball game. Ortiz, the RBI in no man's land. Vandermeulen, not much you could do with that one.
Right, especially knowing the speed of the ball, speed of the runner, knowing where your runners are, and in that play, just get the out at 1.
Maya Parada trying to lay down the bunt with runners at the corners and nobody out. Go-ahead run is at third. Aspen Hannigan standing there. Parada 0 for 1 today with a strikeout. And down in the count, 0-2. The runner Ortiz, delayed steal to second, no throw. Same situation as the last batter, runners at second and third, nobody out. 2-2. .67 pitches today for Williams. And behind him the count 3-2 now as Parada has stayed patient and worked the count full. picked up in the infield in front of Vandermeulen. The flip over to first, too high. 1 run scores for Northern California as they reclaim the lead. An error on Vandermeulen, Natasha, who seemed like she was in between deciding if she should charge it, try to make the catch, or let it drop in front of her, and got her all out of sorts.
Yeah, and also, you know, you want to know that you have time with the runner at first, and you have time to make that play and take a look at the runner back at third before making that play at first.
A lot going on.
A lot going on.
So it all ends up with another run for Northern California. Still nobody out here in the 5th. And if you're Patrick McCumber, coach for Arizona, just came out to talk to his team, the thought, I imagine, is probably, hey, we got to keep this close. We've only got 2 more innings to bat here, and we can't afford to give up too many more runs. It's been the bottom half of this lineup for Northern California, starting with Kapoor, Hannigan, and Ortiz. Those 3 have accounted for all 5 of the runs scored for Northern California today. And here's Azareas Garibaldi Munoz. Nobody out. Fake throw down by Aguirre, who holds, and runners at second and third yet again. 3rd time we've had this situation with nobody out here in the top half of the 5th inning. Garibaldi Munoz lays down the bunt. Williams fields, throws the first out, throw home, not in time. Sack bunt for Garibaldi Munoz and an RBI makes it 6-4 Northern California.
Williams doing a good job of jumping off the mound, but you always want to take a look back at that runner on third, see how far she is off, and then go ahead and make that play at 1.
And the lineup turns over for Kita Gutierrez, who had a single and a pair of RBI in the 3rd inning. Trying to extend the Northern California lead here. Already a 3-run 5th inning for NorCal. First pitch in the infield, nobody able to get there. Drops in front of Ramirez. And a few pretty innocuous hits here for the Northern California offense that the Arizona defense, who was so good yesterday, committing some errors and not chasing down or calling off their teammates, and it's leading to runs here for Northern California. So Parada at third. Gutierrez moved up to second base. And here is Jada Drake. Runners at second and third, and still just 1 out for Northern California. Swing and a miss, 0-2. They do rule it an error on the third baseman Ramirez on the Gutierrez at bat. Swing and a miss and a pitch in the dirt. Runner goes. No play at the plate. Drop third strike. Drake reaches first base and still just 1 out, and now a 7-4 game. So even when it looks like there's an out, there's no out, and poor Lily Williams just wants to get out of this inning. A drop third strike and a run scores. Parada comes in, Gutierrez to third. Drake takes second without a throw. And Isabella Aguirre, 0 for 2 today. Lays down the bunt. It's a good drag bunt, but rolls foul.
And I like the idea by Aguirre to try to keep this rally going, putting down a bunt, keeping the momentum on their side.
Down and ready, ladies. Down and ready. Let's make the play. Blue team play. Get the out. Get the out.
Northern California, this team, no stranger from comeback victories. In the state championship game, they were down 5 runs going into the bottom of the 8th inning. An extra inning game as that one put on the ground. Out number 2, another run scores to make it 8-4. Now Drake caught off the bag and nobody holding her on, so she scampers back without a throw. Gutierrez is the runner who scored on the ground ball by Agaria. But Northern California down 5 runs in that state championship game. They scored 5 in the bottom of the 8th to send it to a 9th inning. They were down 1 run in the bottom of the 9th inning. They scored 2 to win it to earn a trip to San Bernardino. 2 outs, a runner on third for Danica Garcia, who's got 2 ground outs today. Goes the other way, and it's a foul ball. And now the question is, with this 4-run, could be more lead for Northern California, do we see Jada Drake pitching in the bottom of the 5th inning?
And I think that would be a good decision, just to change it up, but you know, I think Drake is more of their closer. Not a bad idea.
Well, we'll see if there's a pitching change now with a big lead after a 5-run 5th inning for Northern California. They lead it 8-4 here in the winner go-home semifinal in San Bernardino. Well, the errors haunting Arizona in the top of the 5th inning as 5 runs on 2 hits and 3 errors score for Northern California. An 8-4 lead. Natasha, the ball never left the infield in that 5-run 5th.
And it happened so quickly, and we talked about Arizona being able to take care of the ball, and that to me is the difference with them going behind here.
Absolutely. 4 errors on the day total. 1 more error than Arizona has hits in this game as Jada Drake comes into the circle. So we were right. The closer comes in for Northern California, trying to shut the door on Arizona and earn Northern California a trip to our final game with a rematch against Southern California on the line.
And I like this decision to put Drake in. She's more of a power pitcher. She definitely has a little bit more speed than Parada, and so to come in and hopefully shut the door, do a job.
Drake has appeared in 3 games in this tournament, pitching 7 full innings. As the first pitch swinging by Jackie Ramirez into the dugout. 7 innings, 12 hits, 5 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, and 2 walks for Jada Drake in those 3 appearances. Middle of the order for Arizona here. And a lot of changes defensively that we will let you know about as soon as we can. Drake in to pitch. Gutierrez moves over from second to short. Layla Ortiz from third to second. Danica Garcia enters in to play third base. Garibaldi Munoz is in left field. Ground ball back to Jada Drake. 1 away, and the last defensive change is Aspen Hannigan moving over to right. So Garcia, Gutierrez, Ortiz, Agaria left to right in the infield. Garibaldi, Munoz, Ferguson, and Hannigan left to right in the outfield. Brooklyn Scott still behind the plate as Jada Drake pitches. This will be to Janelle Vandermeulen. Line drive past the outstretched arms of Ortiz, and a one-out base hit for Janelle Vandermeulen.
And Vandermeulen doing a good job of swinging first pitch, just knowing that Drake is pounding the zone and going right at hitters and going right side.
And now Vandermeulen's been called out at first, and I'm wondering, Natasha, if she was standing on the orange bag, which you are not allowed to do after you clear first base. The orange bag is simply there for you to touch as you're running down to avoid a collision. Once you get on first base, you can't stand on the orange bag. We've seen it happen once already in this regional, and we're waiting for confirmation, but I believe that's what just happened, and that's a killer for Arizona.
Yeah, and you can see she's on the orange bag, and you're right, Eric, you have to make sure you go back to that white bag.
Base hit up the middle for Benavidez, and let's see how detrimental the standing on the orange bag out ends up being. Instead of 2 on with 1 out, now it's 1 on with 2 outs.
It's just a hard hit up the middle. Benavidez just doing a good job of using Drake's speed to her advantage and just getting her bat head out in front.
Larson swinging away, her first matchup against Jada Drake. Larson 0 for 1 today. Favorite fruit is a Hawaiian haystack. What on earth is a Hawaiian haystack?
I was just going to ask you, what is that?
Nice. 0 for 2, 0 and 2 the count now on Larson. Popped up behind home plate and out of play. We're efforting to see what exactly a Hawaiian haystack is. The name.
You're thinking about it.
The name is not super appealing, so we're getting word that there's noodles involved, there's rice, there's pineapple, there's chicken.
Ooh.
Chicken gravy. It almost kind of sounds like a Hawaiian pot pie.
Ooh.
There's a lot going on there. I don't know where you get a Hawaiian haystack, especially in Wilcox, Arizona. Sprinkle coconut on there. Boy, boy, it's like a smorgasbord of yummy foods. 1 and 2 the count on Larson. Swing and a miss. Change up. Ends the inning for Jada Drake. So a base running blunder and some strong work in the circle by Jada Drake keeps it an 8-4 Northern California lead. Welcome back to the Little League Softball Regional, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's. Some defensive changes for Arizona and a new pitcher here in the top of the 6th inning. It's Lauren Bennett making her first pitching appearance here in the tournament, as they will move Lily Williams to right field. So Medrano will come out.
For Northern California, number 9, Brooklyn Scott.
Addie McCumber, I'm sure, chomping at the bit, wishing she could pitch. It's been stellar in this tournament, only giving up 2 earned runs and a heartbreaker last night against Southern California. Because she pitched a full game plus the extra inning, she was ineligible to pitch here today. And her team down 8-4. And there's really not much you could do about that. You couldn't have pulled her after 5 innings yesterday in a 0-0 game.
Yeah, especially when they were up. I'm sure now they're thinking, maybe in hindsight, now knowing how the outcome of the game, maybe you think about pulling her. But in that moment, you know that you need her to win, and so you definitely send her back out there.
Brooklyn Scott leading things off for Northern California. 5-run 5th inning for NorCal. Almaden Little League on top 8-4 here.
Down and ready, ladies, down and ready.
1-2 the count on Scott, who's 0 for 2 today with 2 ground ball outs. Southern California Quartz Hill Little League awaits the winner of this game in our championship tomorrow at 5 Eastern. Blooper. McCumber, the diving catch. No, she dropped it. Made a beautiful play on the ball and just squirted out of her glove at the last moment as she hit the ground hard. And Scott reaches with a single.
Hattie McCumber, what an athlete. I mean, just her versatility, this drop step, heartbeat on this, releasing that bare hand, making that extension. And I just think when she hits the ground, she doesn't secure the ball, doesn't have it. But again, A+ for effort. Super impressed by her.
Oh, close. So Scott on with a leadoff single. And here is Lily Ferguson, 0 for 2 today.
Turn 2 infield, turn 2.
Nubbed foul for Ferguson.
Go, Lauren.
Our favorite TV show is
Got it ready,
Friends.
ladies, turn 2, turn 2.
No word on if she considers herself to be a Monica or a Rachel.
Again, another example of one of those TV shows that predates her.
Right to McCumber, a little easier time with that one. Throwing behind the runner, and that went into the camera well. So either way, Brooklyn Scott was going to get second base. One away for Anya Kapoor.
Now batting number 11, Anya Kapoor.
This has been the part of the lineup for Northern California that's done the most damage. Kapoor, Hannigan, and Ortiz after her. Those three have both scored, all three have scored twice in this game. Six runs between the three. Maya Parada, who's after them, she scored once as well. Kapoor, the third baseman Ramirez. And time called before the pitch, so Kapoor will go back and try again. So no pitch and a 1-1 count on Kapoor. And the umpires convening. Not sure what the conversation is.
I'm not sure if it was time before the pitch or if the actual ball that she hit, if she double hit it off of her leg.
Well, it was a no pitch, so.
Follow the batter. Early inning pitch.
So a ball called on an illegal pitch. So there was not time called. It was an illegal pitch on Lauren Bennett. So 2-0 the count. Two-0 count. Runner at second base, one out. Line drive, center field, coming in is Benavides, and she dropped it. The Arizona defense had been so good for the first 2 games of this tournament. That is the 6th error today.
Yeah, it's just been a breakdown of just handling the ball, securing it, making those catches, those routine catches that we've seen them do last night and even earlier in the game today. And that's just been the difference for them.
Yeah, that's right. The first 2 innings, perfect. 6 ground ball outs. Since then, 6 errors in the last 3 innings. And it has just led to Northern California having situations like this, 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. And credit to Northern California, they've cashed in. Foul ball. Aspen Hannigan, the batter. Speaking of defense, Hannigan made 2 great catches in left field earlier today.
And her favorite show is All-American, so she was acting like an All-American out there with those catches.
And another illegal pitch called. Second illegal pitch of the inning.
And I'm not sure if she's not setting before she goes into her windup, if that's what they're calling the legal pitch on. So usually when you get on the mound, you have to bring your hands together and then go. And I think she's not presenting the ball or having her hands together when she gets on the mound.
And so Hattie McCumber coming over and saying, hey, here's what you need to do. Teaching moment from her teammate McCumber. One of the best pitchers we've seen in this tournament. McCumber, again, ineligible to pitch today.
So now her hands are apart. She brings them together.
And it's got to be tough now for Bennett, because now instead of focusing on the pitch, you're thinking about a million different other things. It's like trying to change your golf swing in the middle of a round. And a strikeout on Hannigan.
But that's just a testament to what these moments are about. They're about teaching moments. These girls are developing, they're learning the game, and these are things that are going to stick with her throughout her career. Of, you know, now when I practice, I'm going to practice making sure I keep my hands together, and that's just the beauty of this. You know, it's hard in the moment when things aren't going your way, but these are all teachable moments.
2 outs, and first pitch to Layla Ortiz misses inside. Brooklyn Scott, the runner at 3rd. Anya Kapoor, the runner at 2nd. Ortiz reached on an error, scored twice. 1-1. And it'd be a big stop here for Bennett if she can get out of this inning without giving up a run. 4 runs, not an insurmountable deficit if you're Arizona. On the ground to St. Clair, who ends the inning. So good work from Lauren Bennett in relief. Northern California 3 outs away from making it to the West Regional Championship. Does Arizona have a comeback in them? We'll find out in a moment. The Little League Softball Regional Championships, all day Friday on ESPN. 6 champions will be crowned and will punch a ticket to Greenville, North Carolina. We know Southern California is in our West Region final. That will be at 5 Eastern on Friday. Will it be Northern California joining them? They lost to Southern California in the opening round game over the weekend. And a couple days ago on Monday, trailing 4-1 entering the last inning. They came from behind to win it in the 7th. And they right now have a 4-run lead in the bottom of the 6th inning. Can they hold to win? Daylin Medrano to lead things off for Arizona against Jada Drake. And a strike on the swing. Medrano 0 for 1. They need to get something going here early, as Arizona needs 4 runs to keep their tournament life alive. 1-1. And even though you're down 4 runs, Natasha, you don't want to get too over-aggressive at the plate, right?
Definitely don't want to be too over-aggressive, but you want to go pitch to pitch, hitter to hitter. Just keep it simple, not overthinking it too much.
Well, work a walk if you can get it. 2-1 the count to Medrano, who lined out to the left fielder. Hannigan made one of the spectacular grabs back in the third inning. 3-1 now. It's Medrano, Lauren Bennett, Cassandra Ramirez due up the bottom half of the lineup for Arizona. Swing and a foul tip. That might have been ball 4. And Medrano, I think she knows it too, kind of looking up at the sky. Count full to Medrano. Drake deals. Strike 3 called. Northern California 2 outs away now from a trip to the finals.
Definitely too close of a pitch with 2 strikes to take on that. You definitely got to put a swing on that.
Here's the lefty Lauren Bennett. Behind on the fastball, 0-1. 2 strikeouts in a row for Jada Drake. And quickly ahead in the count, 0-2 to Bennett. Here's the pitch from Drake. Off-speed pitch, gets the whiff, and Northern California is 1 out away from making the West Regional Final.
Jada Drake's command with her changeup is next level, being able to spot that pitch on the outside of the corner. Great job.
3 strikeouts in a row for Drake as she faces Cassandra Ramirez. Ramirez 0 for 1 here today. Fights that one off, 1-1. Northern California, 8 runs on 5 hits. They've committed 2 errors defensively. The biggest story has been the Arizona defense committing 6 errors in the game. Here's the 1-1. The bottom half of this lineup for Arizona haven't had a hit or a base runner. Ramirez trying to change that. Down in the count, 1-2. Here's the pitch. Swung at a pitch in the dirt. Drop third strike, the throw down. Gets the runner and ends the game. Northern California dropped their first game of the tournament. They've won 3 in a row, and they will face Southern California tomorrow in the West Region Finals here in San Bernardino.
And great job to this Arizona team. Just such a great job last night in that game that we saw, and they have no reason to hang their heads today, and just a great performance by both teams today.
And how about Jada Drake closes the game out with 4 straight strikeouts, and we can guarantee you one thing, folks. There will be a team from California in Greenville. The question is, which one? Tomorrow at 5 Eastern on ESPN, we will find out. The Quartz Hill Little League All-Stars from Southern California taking on the Almaden Little League All-Stars from Northern California. A trip to Greenville is on the line. For my partner, Natasha Watley, I'm Eric Rothman saying so long from San Bernardino. We'll see you tomorrow on ESPN.